he did reveal that he's going to deal with the corrupt officials. And when it comes to the corruption, he highlighted that he's going to also deal with investors, or let's say Ugandan middlemen who harass investors.
There is a whole unit for that. There's a whole unit.
Because we've heard of stories where some of the investors are harassed and the choice of harassment is these are investors who are bribed, who are asked for, they ask bribes from them, and most of these particular brokers, or what we could call middlemen in Uganda, who are supposed to help our investors have a good run within the country, end up asking for bribes for these investors to settle in business. And at times it's very difficult if you're an investor.
But you see, it's going to be a whole big fight. You see, it doesn't even just happen to investors. Some of the people that you go to do business with, you're a supplier, you're a provider, there is always what we call a kickback.
And which is at times something that is taking back our investment world a little behind.
It does.
But then also still you do realize that he was very critical on matters to do with corrupt officials in government as well.
In government especially, yes.
Yes, because he said he has been
hearing stories, but now he has evidence.
Now he has evidence from the Minister of Finance, from Parliament.
Right.
So he wants to crack down those particular people who are driving these corruption cases within the country. Because you do realize it's just recently when Honorable Evelyn Anita said that this makes the NRM government unpopular. Now, the head of the NRM government, who is also the president of the country, will not take such cases lightly, because at the end of the day, it is at the expense of his presidency.
In the recent weeks, I've been telling you about the word popularity. When it comes to politics, how popular you are says a lot about how service delivery is taking place and a number of things. But then again, he also talked about how we have grown as an economy, advocated for the African market, but also the East African market, and I believe...
And now we are in the low middle income status.
Now we know exactly on the scale of middle income. We know where we are. We are still at low middle income, but we are approaching.
But we're in the conversations of middle income.
We are approaching.
And you get to realize that with the projects that are in place, the EMIOGA, the PDM, then there is GROW, all of these particular projects, the President further noted that these are going to be the projects where government will continuously invest more money so that many Ugandans can benefit and then can tap into these household incomes. And then we see many Ugandans tapping into the money economy in the long run. Which
should be a very wonderful step for us. Now, when it comes to things like growth in terms of how much you produce and stuff like that, he noted that as Ugandans, we produce about 5.3 billion liters of milk.
And we also have the market when it comes to the milk.
We do have the market, but I think we still need
to increase on that.
Yes, we need.
And then I think we need to increase and also be able to sustain the amount of liters that we produce.
The consistency in production, because one of the challenges that not just Uganda, but African countries face when trading across borders, especially with the West. We don't have the consistency. If I say today I am supplying milk, you're likely to come to me in 6 months and I do not have the milk that I was supplying
and then even the element of the quality of the milk that you're producing is something that many of the international markets look at, the standard that you have. Because as much as we continue to discuss commercial agriculture, you get to realize that adding value to the milk products or the dairy products is very essential.
Important.
So at the end of the day, you need to look at the quality. For example, if the market we have in Algeria, we have some market in Zambia as well for our powdered milk per se. So when you have such markets, you need to maintain the quality of the goods
and the
you're sending to them.
consistency of the supply that you are providing. I got a chance to appreciate cooperatives recently when I visited some of them somewhere in the southwest and then in the west. And for example, milk, they have a collection, there's a circle that has a collection center, and you know what, you know the process it goes through. They have to measure, is there any water in this milk? How was it? Is it lean? Did they remove any kind of fat? Now, if we have a number of those that are putting in place such measures, we're headed for a very good place.
And you know, when you look back at how cooperatives were game changers back in the days,
Right.
I think it's high time we started having serious conversations of having them, because even with the PDM, which is now a flagship program by the government, you realize the money is going through different circles.
Right.
So if at all we have these circles, yes, if we have these circles growing, the chances are very high that
and
we're
being
going
serious,
to see many
not just
Ugandans
creating them for the
same.
sake of getting the money and
Exactly.
closing after.
And when you look at it being a center where many of the Ugandans, especially those who are into agro-processing or agro-production, many of them will really benefit. And at least there, through circles, someone can easily earn some money from their, you know, hard sweat and everything.
You know the advantage with these circles is that, yes, you're going to, one, you are in there as a member, and you are getting a good price, first of all, for your produce. That is one. Two, moving forward, they create a section where they can even lend money to their members at a very good interest rate, instead of running to certain banks that are going to, or even money lenders or sharks that are going to rip them off. So I believe we're headed for a very good place. If we only get more organized in some of those groups, it would really do good for us. Look at it's called SCPCU. It's for coffee. It's in the West, doing pretty well. Even on the world market, the kind of coffee they produce, on the African market, they've won tons and tons of awards. And I would say if we keep doing that and get more organized,
yes,
well.
And with the element of the East African integration, which the president also further mentioned yesterday, you do realize that with the East African integration, one of the key pillars behind pushing for the integration is ensuring we have access to these markets.
Yeah, free movement of goods and services across the East African borders, yes.
And so that means for the farmers out there, and then other dealers within trade, you get to realize that we have the market. The presidents are working on the bilateral relations to ensure that we continue having access to, let's say, Kenya, Tanzania, and well, ahead of, as we are definitely going into the right time, then we shall be having the serious conversations of a middle-income economy as a country.
Away from the lower middle income. Well, we do have some local stories as well, other local stories. And well, let's start off with the president's speech itself yesterday. President Yoweri Museveni gathered enough evidence. He said he gathered enough evidence to pin the corrupt civil and public servants. And in the State of Nation address, the president says he has been hearing about corruption in both parliament and executive, but with no evidence until of late. The president has assured the public of what he has described as crushing the corrupt. But the president asked the public to differentiate mistake makers, the dishonest and foreign agents in regards to fighting corruption. President Yoweri Museveni arrived on time to open the 4th session of the 11th Parliament, which sat in Kololo ceremonial grounds. As per the procedure, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, in her communication, briefed the President on the achievements and challenges during the concluded 3rd session of the Parliament. Speaker Anita says 47 bills, including the 23 bills to foster rationalization of government agencies, were passed in the last 1 year. And she also hailed the President and the First Lady, Janet Museveni, who also doubles as the Minister for Education, for empowering and financially supporting sports in Uganda, while the evidence that Nambole Stadium was given a new look. In his address on the State of the Nation, President Yoweri Museveni reminded the legislators how the NRM principles enhance the economy. He says now Uganda produces surplus products, including sugar, cement, steel products, among others, and because of patriotism and Pan-Africanism, the market has been created in both East and Central Africa. On the principle of socio-economic transformation, the president says government has provided grants to those people who have no capital. The president also reminded the public how the East African community was revived despite calamities caused by the past leaders.
And well, members of parliament, cabinet ministers and religious leaders have supported the president on the issue of taking action on the corrupt individuals in public service, and parliament saying this is when the public will believe in government. The president, during his State of the Nation address in Kololo, said he is to take action of they corrupt through dishonesty, acting as foreign agents and people who make mistakes, which some members of parliament say they could be dishonesty under mistake. So the level needs to be leveled and measured.
And moving on, the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, has advised the young people in Uganda to guard against fake labor companies seeking to export labor from Uganda for lucrative employment abroad. The Prime Minister was meeting a group of Ugandan youths who were recently rescued from rebel-controlled areas in Myanmar. Lawrence Nabimba is one among the 23 youths who were rescued from captivity in rebel-controlled areas in Myanmar. Nabimba's story is not far different from hundreds of Ugandan youth who travel abroad in search for employment. Together with his colleagues, after several months in captivity, the group met the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, who played a central role through the Ugandan ambassador to Thailand, Betty Bigombe, to negotiate with rebels for their release. Nabanja said on learning about their problem, she quickly directed the ambassador to ensure that they are rescued. They say they were used by Chinese to do scamming lucrative business online. One of the survivors, Abdul Chigundu, alleged that he was recruited by agents under the National Unity Platform. The Prime cautioned the youth against fake labor companies seeking to export labor from Uganda for lucrative employment abroad. And during their interaction with the Prime Minister, the youth pledged to join government in its fight against human trafficking.
And well, lastly, from the local scene, on June 4th, 2024, community circle cleaning workers in Kampala went on strike due to unpaid salaries and dissatisfaction with their contracts, which had been an issue for the past 4 months. In response to this, the Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, has urged these workers to cease their protests, assuring them that payments will be made immediately as the funds are available. Now, President Museveni recently directed the Kampala Capital City Authority to address the issue by unifying all employees, including those from the community circle and Seven Hills who have existing contracts. Minister Kabanda highlighted that the President ordered supplementary funds to ensure that the workers are paid, expressing her confusion over why KCCA delayed the payments despite receiving the funds. She emphasized that various offices are now involved in resolving the matter and requested the community circle refrain from further protests as efforts are being made to address their concerns. And that's it from our local scene this morning.
Well, thank you. And we are crossing over to the international scene. Let's see how we are doing. Now, the U.S. has told Israel it must be fully transparent over an airstrike that reportedly killed at least 35 people at a central Gaza school packed with displaced people on Thursday morning. Local journalists told news agencies a warplane had fired 2 missiles at classrooms on the top floor of the school in the Nazarite urban refugee camp. The Israeli military said it had conducted a precise strike on a Hamas compound in the school, but Gaza's Hamas-run government media office denied the claim. The U.S. called on Israel to identify publicly the Hamas fighters it said it had killed, just as the Israeli military gave the names of 9 of them. Israel frequently identifies militants it targets in airstrikes, but it is rare for the U.S. to urge it to do so. The Israelis told us there were 20 to 30 militants they were targeting, and they are going to release the names of those they believe they've killed. Those militants, the U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said, that is what they have said they would provide. We expect them to do that, as well as any other details that would shed light on this incident. Moving on, a Scottish woman who allegedly inspired the character Martha in the hit Netflix drama Baby Reindeer is suing the streamer for defamation, negligence, and privacy violations. Fiona Harvey, who says Martha is based on her, argued in a lawsuit filed in a California court on Thursday that Netflix told brutal lies about her over 50 million viewers around the world. The lawsuit seeks over $170 million in damages for Ms. Harvey, who claims the Baby Reindeer series falsely depicted her as a convicted criminal who spent time in prison for stalking. Netflix did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Ms. Harvey also denies that she sexually assaulted the show's creator, according to the court documents, which allege that Netflix told these lies and never stopped because it was a better story than the truth, and better stories made money. In one scene in the series, the Martha character is depicted as sexually assaulting the show's protagonist along a canal one night. And also in other stories, at least 150 people, including 35 children, are feared dead in a massacre in a village in central Sudan, blamed on the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, the paramilitary group fighting the army. The rivals have been battling over control of the country for more than 13 months. The RSF has not commented on the accusations, but yesterday boasted of attacking 2 army positions. Footage circulating on social media after Wednesday's raid showed dozens of bodies wrapped in white shrouds, prepared for burial in Wad al-Nura in Gezira State. The video was filmed by activists from a neighborhood resistance committee, part of a network of local groups across the country which back a return to civilian rule. The Madani Resistance Committee said it was now waiting for a confirmed toll of the death and injured. UNICEF said 35 children were killed in the attack, with more than 20 others injured. The agency's executive director, Kathleen Russell, described the scenes on the ground as devastating. And lastly, choosing the iconic Family Hall of Ocean Life at the American Museum of Natural History in New York to deliver his impassioned plea to grasp the solutions at hand, Antonio Guterres warned that we stand at a moment of truth. In the case of climate, we are not dinosaurs, we are the meteor. We are not only in danger, we are the danger, but we are also the solution, citing the latest European Commission Copernicus Climate Change Service report showing last month was the hottest May in history. The UN chief said global emissions need to fall 9% every year just to keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise limit above pre-industrial levels alive. Last year, they went up to 1%. The UN World Meteorological Organization also reported on Wednesday that there is an 80% chance the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit, the target established in the Paris Agreement in 2015, will be passed in one of the next 5 years. And well, that leads us to the closure of our climate and international news this morning. But we do have our dailies, and Sonko will take us through those.
And well, with the New Vision today, the headline is showing that President Museveni vows to crush corruption in Parliament and finance. The government is also to cap interest rates. Now, when you also look at how the economy is performing, the level of exports, production in numbers, a simple breakdown on the front page of today's New Vision is highlighted as well encrypted at the front page of the New Vision. Now, the national budget speech for the financial year 2024-2025, New Vision gives you a deadline for that, and also the countdown is on. 6 days to go, the 13th of June 2024. Next week will be the day. Now, reactions from some of the top government leaders in regards to what the president highlighted in his State of the Nation address. You can see there's a reaction from Michael Atig Ego, there's a reaction from Betty Kamya, there's a reaction from Joseph Anthony Ziwa and Evelyn Anite in regards to the State of the Nation address. Find more with today's New Vision. Now, the Daily Monitor. Now, as we move on, still with the press review this morning, the Daily Monitor, State of the Nation, problems. What problems? Asks the Daily Monitor. President Museveni uses national address to praise embattled Speaker of Parliament and attack activists involved in exposing corruption, despite admitting to evidence of a graft racket at the heart of government. Sidestepping key public concerns about crime and social services, the head of state tells Ugandans to keep calm Carry on working and watch out for talking cows, says the president. Full coverage by the Daily Monitor is within today's Daily Monitor. Now, in the Scoop magazine, is radio still a viable medium 70 years after birth in Uganda? The bigger question. Find details within the Daily Monitor. The national budget for the financial year 2024-2025. The countdown is also with the Daily Monitor. 6 days to go. Away from Uganda now, the Daily Nation in Kenya. Why Kenyans reject tax bill. Legislation proposed taxes to make life even more difficult for a vast majority. And also Raila turns into Gachagua ally on the divisive revenue sharing formula. And then unease in schools and colleges over cash delays. Now there's a report on tragedy as top detectives' death, secretive ways and sudden change in routine. Then football. We are ready for Burundi, says coach Engin Firat, as Kenya prepares for the World Cup qualifiers. That is from sport. Now, lastly, from our press review this morning, we look at what the Citizen is highlighting. Tanzania's fisheries policy in international limelight. Tanzania's empowerment of small-scale fishers has drawn praise at an international meeting in Dar es Salaam, with participants terming it exemplary. Now, SLB announces 90-day window for loan applications. Africa, destiny. Divided ANC debates South Africa's future government. Now, notable takeaways from Samia's Korea visit, also in the Citizen today. Now, BUG approves measures to boost firefighting and rescue. That is it from our press review this morning.
Well, this morning we are expected to be having one known vocalist and songwriter, Biswanka. Now, I've heard of the name Biswanka before. I don't know why I heard it, but I've heard of the name Biswanka before. So if you're just like me and you're looking forward to knowing who is Biswanka, we'll be having him in studio this very morning. We also do have a man that has a name that is synonymous to the names that girls used to like calling or like listening to back in the day, Alejandro. Did you ever... the soaps that had the Alejandro name. So we do have evangelist Alejandro Escobar, who is a preacher this very morning. And then we have the grandfather of the musicians. Alejandro
Escobar.
Yeah.
The Escobar name.
Now, for you, you're taken by the Escobar name. And I'm here thinking about Alejandro. You know how they spell Alejandro? It has a J instead of an H.
And they pronounce anyway, Latin names.
With an A, the J with an H.
A with an H. It's just like when we used to watch
I will need you to ask you to pronounce.
Ask us where they will say Juan and then it's J.
Yeah, and I would need to ask you to pronounce Juliana, but the other side. Okay, well, let's get into a very short break now. The song of the day today that we're going to be leaving you with is Am I Wrong? This is by Nico Vince. Stay with us. We will be back with the grandfather of the musicians, Ragadi.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Everybody else doing, just cause everybody doing what they all do. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I go home. So am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? That's just how I what you decide. Don't let them control your life. That's just how I feel. Oh, fight for yours, so don't let go. Don't let them compare you, no. Don't worry, you're not alone. That's just how we feel. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. Now am I wrong? Am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see. If you tell me I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. If you tell me I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. If you tell me I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. If you tell me I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. Am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? But that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see. So am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
And thank you for sticking with us. It is the Friday edition of Good Morning Uganda, and wherever you're hailing from, thank you for being a part of this conversation. Thank you for being with us this morning. And I'm here with John Paul Sonko. We will be joined by Ragadi. You said his name is?
Mr. Daniel Kaziwe.
Daniel Kaziwe. And we will be having a conversation on the heroes in the arts and entertainment industry. And the reason for this very celebration or this very conversation is because this Sunday on the 9th of June, it is going to be Heroes Day. And we're going to be looking at heroes in the arts and entertainment industry because it has evolved, because it has impacted us a lot. So we're going to be talking about the different people that have been resilient, that have caused the change, that have seen us shift from different genres to different genres and do better and do pretty well. You know, when I was trying to get the different heroes, I have one that never leaves my mind. And up to today, however old the song is, when they play it, you will have me on my toes. And they say, girls or ladies, don't scream, but my friend, I don't know if I can be in position to hold my excitement, and that is Maddox Sematimba.
Oh, you've mentioned Maddox just here.
Yes.
I have some music of Maddox that I played on Sundays if I'm doing my own laundry, or rather if I'm washing my clothes. Why do I even say doing laundry? When I'm washing my clothes.
It's one and the same song.
So when I'm doing my, you know, these Nkwagala, he has some good songs.
Yes. So you look at so you look at people like Maddox Sematimba now. He is more inclined to reggae, and that is and when you talk about reggae in Uganda, you can't talk about reggae without talking about Maddox Sematimba, among others. Yes. But he is the person that has really held the flag pretty well. And then now when we go back to the evolution of from Kadongo Kamu, because that's the music we knew. And just because you say Kadongo Kamu and people know only, they know, I'm forgetting the names of these individuals. Sebare,
Haman
Basude. Now, those are the people that you would think about. But also, just because we call it Kadongo Kamu, it does not only incline to the central part. Even the other areas, the folk songs they had majorly, they were inclined to Kadongo Kamu. We can still call them Kadongo Kamu. But we have evolved. There is reggae, there is dancehall, there is pop, and all these other genres that we have seen over the years. I think one of the music that we really danced to in those years was music by Ragadi. And there was no song of his you couldn't dance to.
Yeah, very true. By the way, my elder brother was a very huge fan of Ragadi back in the time. Me, during my childhood, I was more inclined to the Eagles production. Back in the day, the Misach, Semakula, Geoffrey Lutaya. You know, they had Ronald Mainja. You know, some of people were Haruna Mubiru. There was also Stesha Mayanja, though I think hers was more of love songs and pretty much giving messages to women.
Yeah, exactly. Band music. And we can't, of course, we can't forget Afrigo Band.
Afrigo Band. They've been here for the ages. I think if you know, the beauty about the legendary music is today, if you happen to attend an event and you see a Maddox Sematimba, and then you see a Frigo band, or you see a member of the Eagles production, now Golden production, you then realize it's a corporate event. There's that attachment of corporate events with these particular acts.
Yes.
So whenever you see them performing, or given that, you know, because most of the people in the corporate world, or most of the, when you look at the age bracket of the people within those offices, they are more attached to that type of music. So whenever you're seeing that kind of wedding of someone from that side of town, or you see an event, a social event, you get to realize that at times you will see these names being hinted on, or these names performing.
Well, not that I'm so old, but there are some people's music that will play, and I will want to. Personally, I would want Maddox to play music at my wedding. Personally, and then still talking about evolution of music and the people that have changed the music scene, the heroes in the music industry. When you look at the changes that have been there, from the way we produce our music to the way we are producing it right now, beats being created left, right, and center. Yeah. Let's talk about how different artists are infusing our African music with a bit of the Western part. Yeah. Let's talk about how we are infusing different languages in the conversations or in the music that we are having on the market lately. So you realize that when it comes to heroes, we would celebrate the artists themselves. The writing styles have also changed. Yeah. So you look at the writers, you look at the producers, you look at the artists themselves, and then you look at
I also think even the time, because when you look at the duration of the songs these days, the pieces being produced, back in the time we had songs running for close to 8 minutes.
Right.
9 minutes. You look at, for example, Paul Kafero's music here in Uganda. Right. Then you also look at, you know, the Oliver Ngomas. The kind of music that they were producing, 5 to 6 minutes. But however, the good thing about their art back in the time was the education.
There was always a story
within.
It was an art of storytelling in there.
And then today, on the sad part about the music again is you do realize that the messages are less meaningful. Or I should say, sometimes you listen to a song where lyrics are either repeated or someone cannot easily understand the type of music there. But of course, there are some artists who have been able to kind of blend the Western cultures and also try to bring in some West African art into the music. But then also, Chantal, when you also look at the theme, it does resonate with our legends. Because the theme for this year is Hail Our Legends, a Secure Uganda is now a reality. So it's more like we are going to be hailing our legends, not only in art and entertainment, but we're also going to be hailing our legends in all the different sectors in the country. And well, of course, as much as we are looking at a Secure Uganda, which is now a reality, I think by this particular theme, we are looking at how do we secure the future of the other legends in the making. And it's something that we are also putting it out there for you, our dear viewer, ahead of this year's Heroes Day celebrations.
Great. As we're gearing into the celebration of the National Heroes Day, or actually, we are trying to make sure that we try to honor the heroes that we have seen over the years. And what a way to start the weekend and to celebrate the heroes. Do remember that Heroes Day is going to be on Sunday, the 9th of June. And this very morning, we do have Mr. Daniel Kaziwe, also known as Ragadi. I am very excited, just that I know how to contain myself, because I've watched and danced to his music almost. You would find us in the house dancing to his music and competing. Almost all the dance moves in his music we danced to, from my father to the last born almost. And we are glad that he is able to join us, and we shall be having that conversation this very morning. So let's check in with him and see how he's faring, and then we can dive further into the conversation. I don't know if I should call you Ragadi or call you Mr. Kaziwe, depending on what you choose.
I am called Ragadi.
All right, Ragadi is in the house. Good morning, Ragadi.
Good morning,
welcome
everyone.
to the show. Thank you for coming.
I'm very pleased to be here today.
Great. And this morning we're going to be talking about the heroes in the art and entertainment industry. And we believe that you are among the people that, one, we look at as the game changers in the music industry. When you look at from Kadongo Kamo and then the kind of music that you have been doing, there's a whole difference that we can tell. And you know, back then, if it was Kadongo Kamo, you were not really going to dance, but we really danced to your music. Personally, I enjoyed the music. Up to today, they'll play the song, and I'll almost sing from the first word up to the last one.
It was always the intros for me.
But talking about the heroes, briefly, who are some of those that you look at and say, these have been game changers in the music and entertainment industry?
Well, there are quite a number. And if I forget, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Anyone, yes.
There are people that have been in the industry for 50 years plus. People like Masagazi, at the late. People like Moses Matovu.
Right.
People like Joanita Kawalia.
Yeah, Frego Band, yes.
People like Sewanyana, the drummer, who is also in Afrigo. Jimmy Katumba, that's a hero.
Right. We've even done renditions of his music.
And sometimes talk about what they call the unsung heroes. The Nandu Jazz, they have held on to their kind of music.
Right.
You can see that Nanduja plays the drum, the baksimba, and the muogola.
I saw her performing recently. She still
and
has
she
the energy.
tries to, you know, the people that have been in the industry for a very long time, there are bands that have been there that people never talked about. You've heard of the Cards Band.
Right, yes.
Where there was Kiki Romeo, John Kawa.
Kiki Romeo is a huge name in Western Uganda.
Yeah, see, there are people that when you listen to what they played as music, it is something that stuck in the people's minds. People like Philip Bongo Lutaya.
Right, yeah.
Every December is done to remind Ugandans that Christmas has come.
The moment you start hearing those songs, you know Christmas is around the corner.
Every 1st of December, they hold the World AIDS Day. And if his song doesn't play, then that means the day has not come.
No, actually, the AIDS Commission has a specific, when they're doing the celebrations, there's usually a symposium, there is a specific tent, and it's called the Philly Bongo Lutaya tent.
How I wish his family would get a medal on every Heroes Day.
Right.
Because those are unsung heroes. There are people like Sergeant Chifulugunyu, who died at Warrant Officer 1. In the Bush War, he made songs that gave people morale to fight. Sibonge janini, vijana naambia msituni, semtoka peka masulita.
I can assure you don't want to know the words we used to put after Chibonge.
You know, the late General Kazini. You see, these are people that have been in the industry and they do not really show their face, but their works.
Had impact.
And their works. So when someone sees a general singing, they also say, I think I also can sing.
Yes.
Then there are people that have sung songs that have changed this country, either by message, either by dance moves, either by beats, because what was not understood by most of us is the international music had taken Uganda. The Congolese had taken Uganda by storm. After the Congolese comes the Jamaicans. After the Jamaicans comes the South Africans.
Taking over the industry.
After the South Africans, now the Nigerians.
Yes.
Now you see, when you're trying to talk about, if you don't praise your heroes, you're already killing yourself.
Yes.
Why? Because people listen to the music in their bedroom.
True.
Of the Ugandan. And then
outside,
they listen to the Nigerian music
on the outside. Hey.
So they like the music, but they pretend that they don't like it. So at the end of the day, this kills the morale of that person who sings.
Because they don't think they've had impact or they've made it somewhere.
If you listen to Maddox Sematimba singing a reggae song, You believe that you're listening to Eddie Grant. You believe that you're listening to a Jamaican somewhere, but singing in your language.
Uganda, yes.
Very true.
If you listen to music like music of Kabuye Semboga,
it touches the soul. It's
if you
relate to it.
Music of the late Kafero.
And the beauty about it is they had even transformational messages.
Yes, and the messages, there are songs that overthrew the Obote government. Songs like Basi Dunia.
Haman Basude.
Yes. Songs like Agawala Gana Munkola Watuliva to today, Tuligazimbiros. That was peace talks. But Tuliva to today, Tuligazimbiros sister. We'll build a house, we'll build unity. And for a person who does not understand, if you don't understand history, you can never understand geography.
That is true.
And people have to listen to these old songs. If you listen to Kafero's songs, when he's singing about Kawala Kachinyonzi, when he's singing about Dipo Nazigala, you see a real drunkard giving up.
Yes.
And that is the lesson for even before people go to the rehab, they listen to
Yes.
And then someone listens to the message, but you know, when you like a song, it becomes part of you because you want to learn the words. Now, when you learn the words, you have already taken the message.
Right.
So most of the
because
songs,
you pay attention.
most of the songs that have been building the society in Uganda have been left out. They are not played by DJs. Now they are playing these songs. You know these names of the songs that you cannot. When you are saying anything, you can't say. The people I don't know, but God has to help Uganda because you see, it is a mindset problem that a person sings a song and even is scared of saying the name of the song
in public.
And you know, then you see in the nature of and the culture of Uganda, the name of the song that you sing becomes your name.
True.
That is very true, wherever you pass.
And so if you bring out a title that is very vulgar, you become vulgar. Even you fear yourself to...
We relate you to vulgar music.
And because that becomes you.
On that very note, Ragadi, let's take a look at the importance of celebrating the heroes in the arts and entertainment industry. What good would it do for our country and for the individuals themselves?
Just imagine if any kid woke up today and followed who Ragadi has been. How successful has Ragadi been? That means that kid would follow into the footsteps of who Ragadi was.
They would want to do better in life.
Yes, because if I say, imagine you are young when you're listening to my music. Now I'm on your program.
Right.
That means you listen to my music, and after listening to my music, you understood my message. Now, understanding my message has given us this time that I'm still around, that you're talking to me.
Very true.
So many artists have disappeared. So many artists have given up. And the reason why they give up is the society where we come from. People forget so quickly. We don't have memory cards. People who are good singers, you know, good voices like Juliana Kanyomozi.
Yes.
Someone says, I will be Vakade. There's no Vakade because in music, there's no expiring date.
I saw Irene
the music still
grows.
She has a concert this year.
Yes, she has a concert, yes.
Yes. You see, and when they're making that, when she's trying to make her concert, someone says, Neda, at the end of the day, is if you do not remember the strength of your foundation, you are talking about a weak building.
Right.
Your community has to be built with the history. If you don't know, if you don't know your family background, you cannot have a better family. You need to know who your grandfather was, to know who your father was, to know who your son will be.
Very true.
So at the end of the day, the reason why we have our names as Dan Kazibwe, that Kazibwe name comes from a Kazibwe family that makes it a Kazibwe. So that is why even when I have my kids, they must follow into those lines. So at the end of the day, if we want to have better artists in Uganda, we have to praise the old artists. We have to learn from the old artists. Ask yourself, so many bands have come in Uganda. Why is it that Afrigo Band is celebrating 52 years? Other bands have come and died, on their first anniversary. So if you look at them, ask yourself, why is it that Africa Band has released one new song after 49 years.
But yet their music is still playing.
But they sing every weekend. What does it mean? Why is it that Ragadi, who has been there, even if I don't release a new song now, I perform every weekend?
Right.
What does it mean? It means that longevity, or the way you're going to do things, you need to learn from someone.
Yes.
So people today in Uganda, they're not learning from the past. That is why people get medals on Heroes Day, and you ask them, where are they would be celebrating people that have made people learn something, people that have made people do something. I will tell you that before the Guerrilla War, 1981-86, there were people that acted plays that would show what Uganda wanted. There are people that sang songs that showed, that sent a message. There are people that sang songs. There was a very sad song that the NRA people used to sing about fellow combatants who have died in the struggle. Fellow combatants who have died in the struggle. Now they would sing about all the army men that were shot. But they're saying, we are going to fight until Uganda is free. So at the end of the day, what does it mean? It gave morale. Now we would be learning from things like that. That if I'm going to talk about where Ugandans come from, in the music scene, the Congolese were here every weekend.
That is very true.
And now, today, Ugandan artists can sing every bar, every venue, and it is Ugandan music. So what does it mean? If we learn from the past, we can even push it further. As technology is changing, as times are changing, people can do it further and they make more money, in the industry, as they learn from the past.
Well, Ragadi, on that issue of the generations changing, when you look at the revolution of Uganda's music industry today, we did mention in our opener here how even the duration of the music has changed. Here someone produces a song of 2 minutes and it's lacking even a slight touch of meaning to anything. It's not relevant and it keeps on. We have music that dies off immediately it is released. It's a hit in a month, the next 1 month you no longer hear anything about it.
It is not called a hit. It is a beat.
It's a beat.
So the reason why it takes a short time, the message is either vulgar or nothing. So the reason why the old music that we sang would take long is because the message, you need to deliver a message. But now, someone comes to sing today, I look at the rappers. He wants to rhyme, but his rhyme does not have a meaning. When you're listening to Kadongo Kamu, and you're listening to Sebata singing Doleyo Mwana, you want to follow the story from the beginning. Even if Amasanyalaze Gagenda, you want to Amasanyalaze Gagenda start from where you stopped. Because so now the follow the story. The message is like very, you're building up a message. Now the music today, I'm very sorry to say, but even the singers themselves, they say, oh, to kola. Because at the end of the day, what is the message you're sending to the people? That is one. Two, if it is not vulgar, not educational, ask yourself, can this message be kept for long in the files? That's the reason why you're saying it is bubblegum music. Someone sings a song, and then you ask them, hey, what is the meaning of that word? It says, man, it just sounds evil. So at the end of the day, it sounds nice, but it has no meaning. Are you getting the point? Yes. Then the other songs, you ask the singer, what did you mean? Then it says, no, but the beat is okay. So at the end of Chakuteo, we have a culture that we need to build. Okay. We have these kids that are learning from us. Imagine you have a song, you're saying Chakuteo, and the song has no meaning. It means that the meaning will be lost slowly until the end. So if we listen to the old songs, have you realized that old music is coming back more than now new music? Because people realize that I used to hear of a message. No Jamila Analia, no Katupakase of Chameleon. And even if you're somewhere seated and you're not working, you say, man, guy, I'm telling you a message. When I sang about landlord, even if you don't understand what I'm saying, say landlord, the nyumba kwensula landlord and the problem. You have to go work and build your small house and you start being there. If someone is saying, man, I have to get married. You man, so at the end of the day, if we sing about things that can change our country, I sang about parliament.
Yes.
And you know, I gave it a 3D. I call it a 3-dimensional view. When someone is listening to that song, it has 2 dimensions.
Okay.
The beat, the message, and the question. What is he singing about? Tonenya, Toyomba, Parliament yange yelimwe tabu. Now if you take it to reality, don't you think Parliament has the problem?
And when you look at what is happening,
even
it has the problem.
Situation at the moment, yes.
Yeah, because you see, you sing a song and you leave it for the people to ask a question. Is he saying the real Parliament or what? Now at the end of the day, if you do a song like that, and people say, Negwe, Amateka gave some Parliament, now you got the problem. After that,
you fall back to the song.
Then you watch the video, and now I'm talking about a girl who listens to the waka, mutima gwange. Then you're like getting confused, but you're trying to learn something. At the end of the day, we need music like this to give people questions to learn what did the artist talk about. And the meanings, also, when Bobby Wine sang about Tugambia ku Jennifer, Jennifer, when she had that song, she changed. They stopped beating, but then
they eased the beat, yes.
That was a message. Now, you see, music is a message. Someone just sings about something. Now, people are now singing music over. No,
you know, one of the artists recently said that the reason as to why they no longer want to sing meaningful music is because the generation like the generation doesn't
though I would like
listen
to disagree.
To their message.
I'd like to disagree. I don't know if you agree to that. Personally, I'd like to disagree because I look for a message as an individual. I will listen to the song. I will if I can't get the words properly, I'll go look for the lyrics of the song to go through what is the story in there. What are we saying? What are we celebrating if it's a celebration song? But
I disagree totally because now today we have what they call AI. You know, even if you don't want to write your lyrics for people to understand, AI will do.
They'll generate
but
it for you.
AI is going to shame the artist. Why? Because the words you are saying is writing them. And people are learning them. Now, the problem with what we are doing today is the artists that call themselves too big are too small. Why? Because their message cannot build even the dumbest person. Now, the message in any song should be very clear. When you sing a song, you're sending, the creative sector, we are called the mirror. So what I sing is what reflects to the people. Now, when I have a song, and I'm talking about maybe Obwavu, when you listen to Olumberu Obwavu of Africa, you start even visualizing, you start making bufananyi of Mwavu Ryan Kemwanyi kuba yetonyono gambano lagayo yabonye ne mwanyize. You know, you're listening, but you're visualizing. Now that is a message. Now, when people start singing songs that you can't visualize, that means we are losing culture. When people start singing about foreign culture, you sing about, so many people want to sing about, like Nigerians, when they're Ugandans. Their accent is not good to that.
To that level.
They would rather sing in an accent that people understand, and they don't say bakopi. And because I want to say, what was saying of unruly. That's what I said, for us, we
unruly.
Now, if they don't tell you that your beat is not good, or don't tell you that, man, your words, the word progression, and the meaning of your story is not very clear. Someone says, good man, so at the end of the day, if we do not have a direction to flow, that means the music will not be nice. In America, they have censors. They censor your music. And what happens is, censoring, when they listen to your song, and if your message is going to poison the people, it cannot play anyway.
Now, on that very note, Ragadi, let's get a little bit personal. Now that we are celebrating the heroes in the art and entertainment industry, we would like now to go to you and let's talk about some of your achievements and some of the impact that you've had when it comes to the entertainment industry.
Well, my impact is very clear. I just thank God for the time I've been an artist in Uganda. The last 32 plus years. People who are doing music in the first place used to think that when you sing in your local language, you are local. So by the time I started doing music, there were groups that were singing hip-hop, like Dima Park, like MC Afrique, like Prim and Proper. They were singing English. So I said, to me singing in Uganda. So when we were singing, and people were like, Uganda local man, I call me to be the local. But the message is the most important thing. Yes. When I sang about Bamusakata, because my dad used to say, Njaku Sakata Chiboko Mwana. Then I said, so I can sing a song, Bamusakata, Bamusakata, Bamusakata Chiboko Nazmatira. And it would sound Jamaican, but in Uganda. So it worked and people were happy. And if I can sing something and people also follow the trend, I want to get today that they are doing hip hop. They have not done hip hop. Hip hop was done long time ago. Twakola denyimbe za hip hop. Nkabongere yakatuongere. Ngambemba we ngamudda muntu tuwe. Simple rap and so at the end of the day, when I saw the Congolese, I said, but I can do Luganda in Congolese. When I sang the folk song of Sise Komao, Sise Komani, and the son was Congolese, the words are Luganda. And then people said, maybe that could have been one of the reasons why people decided to say, Ninafe, waliwo wakawaka bandi, waliwo simba bandi, waliwo anewaga, nafe tusolokole byafe, waliwo the late Sarah Birungi. And everyone started doing like Congolese, but in their language. So at the end of the day, that is the push away from that music that we used to listen to. Gatulira typical jazz band, to the Madilu system. Actually, we didn't have our music, but now we are trying to see that Uganda gets a type of music called Ugandan music, and it's very important that every kid that wakes up today should wake up and say, let me create something that will be called Ugandan. Because for us in Uganda, we are very lucky to have like 55 tribes. Right. Every tribe has a different language. Every language has a different beat. Every tribe has a different way of wearing. Every tribe has a different way of dancing because they have different traditions. So if we imagine having a song from Soroti, you have a song from Kabali, you have a song from Arua. Those are all different things that if you put them together, you can get a Ugandan sound. So we need to take time and also think of great people that can do things that will last forever.
Let's talk about some of the challenges as someone who has been part of the change that we have seen in the music industry. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you have encountered as an individual in the bid to have those changes put in the society.
The changes, first of all, people disrespect great thinkers in this country. When people are praising people, they forget the ones who started. It's just like a house that forgets its foundation and talks about the roofs. Right. In Uganda, the greatest singers are the least paid. In Uganda, the greatest singers are the least played. You ask yourself, how many Kadonkamu songs are played on TV already? Imagine a Kadonkamu song being played in Governor. So at the end of the day, the people claim to say, hey, that's what they are.
And it ends right there.
Then you tell them, do you have his music?
They don't.
Ah, man. Then that means you're forgetting what you want. So, so the first problem in this country is the greatest singers are disrespected. The least paid singers are the greatest singers. And the most paid singers are the worst singers. I would like to, you make a research and see that when people talk about real music, I'm talking about real music, the real singers are so disrespected that now they feel that they do not want to sing anymore. And that's the reason.
And they're not appreciated enough.
If you don't appreciate what a person does, people come to sing with the band and then they want to pay someone a lot of money who is playing on playback, who is miming. A person miming is paid more money than a person playing live.
On live.
So at the end of the day, we need to change this culture where we say, ekintu kyetulina ekiri important to embracing. Jimmy Katumba sang about abantu lwaki tebayiga ekintu kyolina lwaki okigaya. Now most of the artists in Uganda are praised when they are dead. I don't know if it is the culture, but it's a very bad culture. People praised Katolo Wama when he died. But when he was suffering, no one cared.
No one cared. And no one was even playing his
and
music.
Then they say, when his theater was being demolished,
no one came in
to save him. You know, a person does not die with a bullet. A person dies from the head. Yep. You psychologically go slowly. Now, they psychologically go slowly. They end up drinking. The other day, I managed to take John Kawa to the rehab. And John Kawa is one of the greatest singers Uganda has. But he told me a story. He told me, Ragadi, really, do people know how long it takes to have a voice that does not look like anyone, does not sound like anyone? So I was like, hey, what do you mean? He said, my voice as John Kawa, if you can use it anywhere, I can be like Jim Reeves. I can be like the greatest singers. And I'm like, yes, actually, when you sing, you sound different from the other artists, from the other people that would mime you. But no one is looking at it importantly. I don't know if you're getting my point.
Yes, we are.
And people should embrace this. Actually, we sat down with Mr. Mbele, Charles Mbele, and Mr. Charles Mbele said, but Ragadi, we need to help. We need to help this guy called John Kawa because he has a different taste. Now, at the end of the day, what has made Ugandan music very difficult, the people that have put in a lot have gained little.
Yes.
How do we now undo some of those mistakes that we are making? How do we go forward from here? Because we're supposed to be benchmarking and learning from the people that have had that change or that have tried to bring that change.
Mindset. Just imagine on Sunday, the Heroes' Day of Uganda, the family of Paul Kafedo is given a medal for being there for people as a message in Kadongo Kam. Call the family of Philip Bongo Lutaya and say, every Christmas we're enjoying your music and Philip, you're not here, but your kids will be happy. So that means that there will be another Philip Bongo Lutaya born who will say, at least even if I die, my kids will be given something. Now, the reason why you don't see people do the same, did you know that the best footballers, the Jimmy Chirundas, the Majid Musisis, their families, their kids were playing football, but they cannot play football anymore because they have not seen anyone embrace
their family.
Their late father.
Actually, the question they usually say is, when my dad did this, Yafuna Mochi.
I went to school with the kids of John Akibwa. John Akibwa, he was one of the greatest athletes Uganda had.
Yes.
Got our first gold medal at the Olympics.
Yes. Now, his kids, Tonia and Tony, were the best athletes in Buganda Road. But they would be training, they would have a training camp where they train other people to give them confidence that you can run like us. Nowhere to be seen. And you could look at the Chiptenges, these runners, the long distance runners. If they're embraced, the government is giving them cars and everything, but now their kids need to share the health and wealth of their parents. You know, like if you look at the boxers in America, Mayweather Sr. is the father of Mayweather Jr. Now, because his father used to fight, his son said, I'm going to fight better than my father. That is why his son is now Mayweather Jr. who is very rich. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So if we do not have that, we can never grow. The country can never have superstars. Why? Because when you look at all the superstars in football of Uganda are either dead or mad or drunk.
Yes. You've been talking about the different messages that have been put out there through entertainment and through art. And you know, when you talk about art and entertainment, we look at the beat, that is the producers, we look at the artists themselves, the writers of this music, the DOPs that be on these sets when the videos are being shot and all. Let's now look at how we can achieve social change through art and entertainment. Please do note that this is on the background of one, yes, the mindset has changed. Back then, if you'd say you want to be a musician, or yagala foka muyai, that was one thing. Then also, there's been an attachment of drug misuse, alcohol consumption, too much alcohol or drunkenness attached to this particular industry. Yet we have people who are doing exploits in there. So how do we now use the art and entertainment industry for social change, and especially in mindset?
You see, today, if you woke up and watched a ragged story, if you profile me, I have never slapped a person in my career.
Right.
Not because I don't get pissed. I get angry with people. I have never moved. You have seen what the people, all these singers that have 2 songs, have a gang of 50 people around them.
We shall come to that question briefly.
Are you getting my point? You look at an artist, he has 1 song, 1.5 song. He has 1 song and the instrumental. And he's trying to feel so big like a tank. But now, what we need to change, first of all, to be in the mind. Secondly, it will be on the people that we work with. You see, when you're making a song, there is what they call a value addition. A person that makes it bigger. And then there's a value chain. Now, the value chain, the writer of the song, the producer of the song, and the singer of the song, with the manager of the song, make the song better. Now, all these people need to be part of the song. Imagine the other week we were in a war with the producer saying, "Tukoye, but artists work on the nyimba, but never becoming
they
rich,
don't give us credit.
to be poor." You know, there's a reason why some of the songs now you find the word Washington.
Yes.
It is like
it was a household name at some point.
It is like a, but the problem, why it is making it like a karma. Washington. You would be saying Washington so that you feel
that it's a song he produced.
Now, when we put the copyright together and we amend the copyright and it is working, but I'm not seeing the will. You see, we have been fighting for the copyright of this country in the creative sector for 11 years. And they tell you now it is coming to cabinet, then from cabinet it's coming to parliament. I don't know if the parliament is working or not, because if they put the copyright together, all the artists will be rich, all the producers will be rich, all the people want to put money in the industry will be rich. The reason why you see the Nigerians going everywhere, they know it is a profitable business. Yes. So they put in money. Now in Uganda, someone says, so they promote agriculture instead of the artists, who can make more money than agriculture, because to plant a seed, it takes about 2-3 months to become a product. But a song can become a product today. So we need the mindset change. Then we need people who say, we understand how the industry works. We need a law that protects the digital era that has come. Because today, the songs are thrown on computer and they fly everywhere. Before we used to have tape, CD, and DVD. Now the narrative has changed, and now we need to have
all these streaming platforms.
Yes. Now, but the platforms, we need to still work very hard, because the platforms are not Ugandan platforms. Now you're international Spotify, platforms. Someone has put your music from America. How will you get your money? So at the end of the day, you're on iTunes, you're on Spotify, you're on Deezer, you're on all these things. But we need to have a system that says, boom, play. Do not play my music if you have not paid me. So when we have a system that works, every artist will be at their home and they will be rich and they will be happy. So at the end of the day, how does it work? It needs the policymakers It needs the artists. It needs the clients or the people who listen to the music to be part of the change. If you're not there, you say, I like my artist. Oh, Juliana sings very well. Juliana sings very well, and it stops there. Now, Juliana would be seated at home and they tell her Spotify has $5,000 for you. Because many people are listening to her music in the world and she doesn't know who put the music there. No, at the end of the day, if we have all this working, I think the narrative will change.
Okay,
Yes.
now let's talk about how we can use the entertainment industry for social change.
It is obvious. If I came here and I talked about a song called If It Is, for the business people, they will all listen to me, and then they listen to my music. When I sang about landlord, the real truth is, my landlord had become a problem. I was paying money for a year. Then the day I built my house, landlord came and said, "Tosola kuleka anju eno, ngatogisize rangi mpya." I don't think I'm a prisoner. I have been paying you per year. I say, my plans for my kids to go to school is what they could katate again.
That's sense of entitlement.
No, but I'm trying to tell you, for those people, because for me, I'm lucky. When my landlord did that, I said, I will never rent again. At least I rather build one small room and I stay in my room. Inside. Because the landlord was saying, in the song, the landlord was saying, "Good guy,
so you can't live your own life until the landlord is happy with you."
Those are the people that have got landlords that are very tight. You know, like if you stay in a Chikomera where the landlord stays, he can even tell you, "Hey,
I've been a very huge victim of that."
We do have some feedback from our comments here. Someone says, "Good morning, team. Thanks for hosting Ragadi. What I talked about him is he liked being unique, even in the era of the three big boys, Chameleon, Bebe Cool, and Bobby Wine. But when he was DJ in both Angenois and Dembe FM, Ragadi never played Kadengo Kamu songs in his program." This one is personally coming for you. I don't know, you'll probably be answering that. Nevertheless, he has a great story. This is Yasa Katende. And then we also do have, we have John, Malawian staying in Durban, says, listening to now every day. Okay. You play one number by Ragadi. And then, hello UBC, there is one thing missing in Ugandan music. The census body like American did. Otherwise, these musicians of today, they are killing everything. Tengu Salim from Entebbe says. And now this is Tom from Nebi, says just loved the program, says loves what you're saying, and you are one of the greatest singers. And it is true, one of the greatest singers are less paid, and also the songs not commonly played, but the worst singers are highly paid. Thanks for the show. My hero in the art and entertainment industry is Lord Fred Sewata. Thank you. And someone says, "Good morning, dear presenters. I want to thank you for hosting the legend Ragadi in the studio. I really appreciate his hustle behavior. He taught me to be a senior hustler like him, although in a different industry. I respect him and Jose Chameleon in music. Let him sample for me Omwengan's Stranger Song." This is Rasul Idris from Zombo Town. Well, thank you for the comments, and please do keep them coming. You can also decide to let us know who is your hero in the entertainment and arts industry. Today morning, our hero is Ragadi, and we're having the conversation with him. Unfortunately, we seem to be running out of time. So briefly, as we are getting to the close of this conversation, let's take a look at your personal reflections as one of our heroes that we are celebrating in the art and entertainment industry.
I would like to thank God, first of all, for the time that I've been in the industry and for the things that I've done for the industry and where the industry has taken me. I am one of the oldest in the industry, and I don't position myself as other people say, number one, number two, number three. I believe in positioning yourself is putting yourself to risk, because people like to move you from that position. I am a neutral artist that sings for everyone in all languages. I've sung in different languages for so many reasons, because where I go, I have to be part of that society. And one thing I have learned that it is in this industry that I've managed to take my kids to school, I've managed to build my empire, to buy my buildings, to buy my cars, to travel the world, to study. I have managed to, right now I'm the chairman of the National Culture Forum, which is the apex body of all federations and associations in the creative sector. I am a board member of the Private Sector Foundation, where all private entities in business of this country lie. So I am proud to be a master's holder that I went to school to do marketing and business, but I ended up in music. So I am using my techniques and my...
What you gained from the
what
marketing.
I gained from that to do something better. There's so much that we can do for this nation by sharing, because they say sharing is caring. Yes. I want to, if God makes it and takes me away from this world, to have a legacy that will not only be talked on my my funeral, because people keep talking about good things when people are dead. They start talking now when I am alive. Yes. And then people ask me questions. How do we do it? How can we do it? How long can we do it? So at the end of the day, I could share my ideas, share some of the things that we can do, the secrets that make a person better. We could share ideas that would build the industry in Uganda, because the industry in Uganda, all the artists come from, they are self-made. And after being self-made, there's no skill transfer. You know, when there's a skill transfer, like someone is a drummer, Sewanyana would say, I have drummers that I have made drummers.
Right.
So
we
need to have people that embrace whatever we're doing and they learn from it and they become that. Because at the end of the day, if so many people are self-made and they learn from what they have done, and then they do not share with other people, which Uganda needs today. The latest artists that you see either copied something but have not fully understood what they copied. So at the end of the day, they sound like another person, but then they want to do something else into another person's sound. So at the end of the day, I thank God for the time that He's given me to be in the field for a long time. And I also thank the Ugandans. You know, it is very easy for people to say, Fetukukoye, todamu kuyimba bileke, genda. But the Ugandans give you a chance always. It's like, omuntaso akadiwanga ayimba. Every message that you have can make you a newer artist. So depending on situation, I would also like Ugandans to look out for those people that sang a long time ago and are in bad shape. Abali waliwo the artists bali eyo olaba kati abasinga bagudde eddalu
the depression
and the drugs because people think the drugs are going to take the problems away. Kumbe they are bringing more problems. Then also tenebaza katonda ebyo naye binzijako omwenge ngunywa as a person, but nywako nga bonywako nga Dr. Bagamba mirempeke zino one time zisiri tosukamu. So at the end of the day, I would like to thank my family, because if you want to be successful, you should have a family.
Great. And the golden question, just before, we talked about how artists lately, and you also hinted about it, how artists lately are moving around with a lot of security, and sometimes even the security causing chaos, or being the ones that they're like gangs that are beating up people and stuff like that. What would be your take, and why should an artist have security?
I have already made a clinic for 3 days at the National Theatre with the Director of Crime Intelligence and police and bouncers associations and events organizers. We want to tell the artists, gangism has to stop. Because the people moving around with them are not their friends. They want to earn from them. They are thieves. They want to start fights so that they steal people's phones and everything. They want to earn from the artists. Now, this young artist who does not know the repercussion of a gang is, if one person dies and your gang has killed that person, you are the person to answer. And what is happening? Of recent, I saw the gang of Fik Gaza beating Aganaga. That is already a problem. And I want to sent my message to the police of Uganda. We talked about stopping gangism. It is not going to stop here. People, when one gang fights, they will always take the fight to another area. Yes. And those things will take people's lives. So today, we don't want to be like Mexico. We don't want to be like the gangs in Brixton, London, where people used to move with knives, and because they're moving with the Yardis, the Jamaicans moving with their artists. So at the end of the day, the artist loses. When you're moving with these people that fight, when you're moving with these people that take drugs, when people are looking at them, when you move with these people that steal people's phones, it is not a good thing for the industry. Now, for the industry, you can live without a gang.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ragadi Sonko. Unless if you have a question, what would be your parting shot as we close this morning?
No, first of all, I want to appreciate Ragadi for being here with us this morning. My elder brother was a very huge fan of Ragadi, and he made us listen to Ragadi during our childhood, and you get to realize that those are songs that moved us. You've mentioned the Mpeta. There's a song that Ragadi Agambie Mbawe was a very good song. Yes, those are some of the songs that we used to dance to in our living room back in the days. And like you've mentioned, you've clearly put it when it comes to the gangs. You get to realize that we have so many cases of robbers these days that are rising in the country. And many people are also saying that at times you get to realize that maybe it is because of some of these gangs, because they are untouchable, and someone may just end up thinking they are also above the law to continue harassing other Ugandans in the same. But nonetheless, I think we should celebrate our heroes in the art industry, especially those whose music is still reflecting in our own lives today.
Thank you, Sonko, and thank you, Ragadi, for being a part of the conversation, for the insights, for for the intriguing conversation, and I think someone is tickled out there. We need to do better in some of the things. Otherwise, we are doing pretty well. Someone says, thank you for hosting Dan. I'm a presenter from Bale, a fan of UBC, and Dan himself, and says thank you for coming to studio. Then we do have someone says, thank you for the program. It's been enjoyable. Someone says, Ragadi tell young musicians to behave like human beings, and the aim of young artists is to spread AIDS. What else do they contribute? It says, you are his Obi from St. Henry's College, Chitovu. And we have Joy Young Leader, who is an artist, says you inspired him, and says he loves your song called Love is Stranger. And a lot of comments are coming in. Unfortunately, I have overrun, and my producer must be looking at me like, get out. Well, thank you for being a part of the conversation. Good Morning Uganda Friday special continues till the hour of 9 in the morning, and we'll be having other great conversations coming your way, so please do stick around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
This weekend on UBC.
We know what we are doing, and we're doing it in rebellion. But you know what we say? He will understand. Now he will understand. We carry it on. We want our children to be better than that.
Why we are living in rebellion. But we want our children to be so good at obedience.
We can only parent as far as or as much as we are obedient to our Father.
If you rebel against him and you expect your children to be obedient, I'm telling you, God in his mercy may come and meet them on his own, but you will become a reject. You will become a reject before your children.
This weekend on UBC.
Junko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are PDM. My parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
To have you back this morning, and glad to have your company. We are off in two other conversations this morning. This is the Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, and edition conversations now turn to evangelism. But before we do turn to evangelism, let me just get through some of the other comments that we've had earlier on with the discussion we had with Mr. Daniel Kazibwe, also known as Ragadi. This one says, hello, thanks for the show, but you're forgetting on the ladies' side, and that's Gisnek, the queen of showbiz. She set the trend. No one ever used that trend in the world. She's a hero. You didn't leave your name. Then this one says, I am an upcoming artist. Kindly, okay. We shall get back to you, Sebo. You didn't leave your name also. Now we are off to evangelism talk this morning. I don't know how fast you've gone, if you are a believer, in regards to making sure that you highly speak about God or preach the gospel to others that are close to you, or even the other nations. But here now we're talking about evangelism, and my guest this morning is evangelist Alejandro Escobar, who joins us in studio this morning to discuss everything evangelism and maybe the ministries that they've been doing over the years. A very good morning, Alejandro, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today. Let me tell you, it was a challenge to get here. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's still raining.
It's still raining, yeah.
But you're in high spirits, I should say.
Yeah, it's good. I got a border. Say, border, how much? 5,000? 3,000. Yeah, I'll take you there.
So you're used to even the bargaining situation. Yeah. How long have you been in the country?
This time, I think I've been about a month. This is my third trip to Uganda.
Have you got a Ugandan name?
Oh, I have a Runyoro name, actually.
What's your Runyoro name?
Akiri.
Akiki.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to understand you more. Yes. My viewer is wondering, who do I have here? Who is Evangelist Alejandro Escobar? What does he do, and where does he come from?
Yes. So my name, like my brother said, is Alejandro. Escobar. I am from Panama. You know where Panama is? Central
South
America.
America.
Central America.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm an evangelist. I work with the ministry Christ for All Nations, and it's a ministry that was founded by the late evangelist Reinhard Bonnke, now led by evangelist Daniel Kolenda. And we are a Christian organization, Christian ministry that we operate and we do mass gospel campaigns all over the world. So not only we did teach evangelism and work with churches, but actually we do massive gospel campaigns in Nigeria, all these other countries in East and Western Africa, and to the date, the Ministry of Christ for All Nations has seen over 93 million documented decisions for Christ.
All right, Christ for All Nations. Now, who is Evangelist Daniel Kolenda? Where does he come from? You've mentioned him part of in your preamble and what he does as he's leading the church now. But where is he from? And tell us more about him.
Yes, so Evangelist Daniel Kolenda is the successor of the late Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke. Like I said, this ministry was founded by Evangelist Bonnke back 50 years. Actually, this year, it's our 50-year anniversary of Christ for All Nations. We're celebrating 50 years of ministry by doing 50 crusades this year all over Africa.
Okay, you've mentioned crusades. Now, let's put it into the Ugandan perspective. How many have you done in Uganda over the years, or is this your first crusade?
Over the years, we've done many. We've done many. It would be hard to give you a number because we've been here in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And yeah, we've been to Gulu, we've been to Kampala, Entebbe, Jinja. I think the last time the Ministry of Christ for All Nations was here in Uganda was over maybe 6-7 years ago. But this is the first time that we ever not do only one crusade, but actually we'll be doing 7 gospel crusades at the same time in 7 different cities.
Now let's now look at the upcoming crusade. Where is it going to be? And what is this year's theme, if you have any, looking into the crusade that you're going to have in the country?
For sure. So I'll start with the theme. Actually, the name of these crusades, the slogan is Faith, Love, Miracles. You know why it's Faith, Love, Miracles?
No.
Because everyone needs faith, everyone needs love, and everyone needs a miracle. Doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, a stay-at-home mom, or a businessman, or a doctor, or a teacher, or a boda driver. Anyone needs faith, love, and miracles. And these Faith, Love, Miracles gospel campaigns will actually be held at 7 different cities all across Uganda. So we're talking about Busia, Hoima, Lira, Gulu, Iganga, Mbale, and here in Kampala.
The dates? What are the dates and where are we going first?
Well, we actually start next week on June 12th to the 16th, and then the second week on June 19th to the 23rd.
Where is your first destination?
So the first week we're going to do Hoima, Busia, and Lira, and that's the 12th to the 19th, the 12th to the 16th. And then the second week it's Mbale, Gulu, Iganga, and here in Kampala from the 19th to the 23rd of June.
Let's look at the preparations though. How prepared are you and what is happening at the background of the crusade?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We have a team over 100 people that are coming in from all different nations, from all different backgrounds, nationalities. We have team members from the UK, US, Australia, Africa. We got Tanzania, Nigeria, and South Africans coming in to help serve, to bless and shake this nation with the gospel, because we're believing that in 2 weeks, well, actually next week it starts. It's crazy. It's so soon. Something historic is going to happen here in Uganda.
Okay. And Evangelist Alejandro, I do have so many believers who are watching this morning. Uganda is a God-fearing nation. You can look at the encryption of our motto, for God and my country. When you look at what is happening in the world today, there are lots of changes in the world. The generation looks quite distant from God by their actions. What message can you give to my viewer this morning, one who is trying to evade God or one who has lost hope in the reality of the gospel?
Well, I would say, like myself, for example, I grew up in a Christian family, to say it like that. We would go to church sometimes, and my life in the outside, it was very nice, but in the inside, I was broken, and I was hopeless, and I was far from God. And I would say to those believers that are watching me, God is calling you. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter if you're living through depression or anxiety or any sort of addiction or fear. God is calling you. And even if you're listening to this and you need a miracle in your body, you need a miracle in your life, I want you to come to these crusades because God has a personal encounter waiting for you in these crusades. If I can share a story of one of these crusades, we did 11 crusades last year in Zambia. And in the city of Mungu, which is western province in Zambia, there was this little girl. And she was born blind in her left eye. She was, like, ever since she was born, her left eye has been completely blind, never really worked properly. And she's always been able to see only through one eye, the right eye. And you know, these crusades, we preach the gospel and we see just wonderful, wonderful people encounter God. But not only that, every night in these crusades, we pray for the sick, those who are, you know, who need a miracle in their bodies. So we're praying for her and for the whole crowd. And then, you know, after the prayer, this little girl, her name was, I forgot her name, but she was 11-year-old. She was like sitting in the shoulders of her mom. And after we pray, we said, okay, now test in faith and your miracle. You know what happened?
She started singing again.
She began to scream, say, Mom, Mom, I can see, I can see, I can see. For the first time in her life, 11-year-old girl, she was able to see from the eye that was blind since birth. And let me tell you, like, we've seen miracles of not only blind people seeing, but, you know, paralytics. We've had this woman, she came last year to our crusade. She was a prostitute, and she was HIV positive. She came to the crusade, she gave her life to Jesus, and then during the prayer for the sick, same thing, we prayed. And you know what happened? She felt the power of God in her body, and then she knew she was healed. The next day, she goes to the doctor, she gets 1, 2, 3 tests. Okay. All of them come back negative.
Do people usually access these crusades on a free pass, or is there a fee attached to it?
No, the crusades are completely and totally free. You see, the gospel is a free gift for everyone. So there is no entry fee, there is no offering that will be asked for in these crusades. We're here to bless the people of Uganda. We're here to give them the free gift of the gospel that it's in Christ Jesus.
Well, besides the faith, love, and miracles that will be all over the room once the crusades kick off, what should the believer expect? What should the Ugandan believers expect from all these regions where you're going to tour?
I would say they should expect their city to be transformed. You know, I think that the crusades are going to be a wonderful time for believers even to come in and just receive just blessing and, like I said, healing and impartation. But if you're listening to this and you're a Christian believer, you have some family members that are not born again. You have some friends that they don't know Jesus. You might be listening to this and your friends in school, they're struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts and anxiety and addictions. If you're listening to this, I want you to take the time, pray for those friends of yours that are not born again, that are struggling. And I want you to invite them to these crusades. I want you to do the work of, even like in the Bible, like the disciple Andrew, it says that he saw Jesus, he saw the Lamb, and then he went back, took his brother and brought him to Jesus. I want you to be an Andrew for your generation, for your family, for your friends, for your school. If you're born again and you're listening to this, I want you to invite all of your friends that are not saved, that need an encounter, that need a miracle from God, and bring them to the crusades, and you'll see that God will do the rest.
And do you have, as Christ for All Nations, over the years, do you have missionary stations where, for example, those who can access the crusades can easily go and continue following the word through the Christ for All Nations Church?
Yeah, well, we're not a church. We're a Christian organization.
Oh, okay.
And we actually have 14 different offices all over the world. The main headquarters is in the US, but we got America, Australia, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, we got Germany, UK, Brazil. So we are spread out all over the world with that.
Okay, but you really have good energy, and for the Ugandan people, they love people who have a lot of energy. More so if I told you how to preach the gospel, I'll have to give that to you. But besides that, now let's look into the next, few years or the next decades. Where does the Christ for All Nations see itself in regards to preaching the gospel, and what is your main objective in ensuring that people get to know the gospel all over the world? What is your main objective in the next 10 years, per se?
Well, actually, it's so funny you asked 10 years because God spoke to Evangelist Daniel Kolenda before the beginning of the decade, and he said, At that point, we have seen 75 million documented decisions for Christ. And he said, over the next decade, you will see in 10 years what it took you 30 years in ministry to see. And it will be a decade of double harvest. So in these 10 years, we'll see 150 million documented salvations for the ministry of Christ for All Nations. And we are, working towards that goal. We are laboring. We have teams all over the world, all over, not only Africa. We have teams right now in South America, in Europe, in Asia, in the United States, working and laboring to see this mass gospel salvation all over the world, because the time is now. The time is now.
And let's look at the reception that you've received over the years as you've been carrying out with these mission crusades and preaching the gospel. Let's look at it from the African perspective.
Yeah.
How have you been received by the different believers in Africa? Or across Africa?
Yeah, well, actually, this ministry was founded in Africa. Yes, in the Evangelist Bonki. He used to be a missionary in the country of Lesotho, landlocked country inside of South Africa. And he was a missionary there for many years, and he wasn't very fruitful. He says, there's one story that he traveled a whole day to go to a village, and he says only 5 people came to the meeting and nobody gave life to Jesus. But then, after that, God spoke to him and he gave him a vision of actually all Africa being washed by the precious blood of Jesus. And that's the day that Christ for All Nations was born. And ever since that moment, we've been laboring. Actually, the heart cry of the ministry, it's Africa shall be saved. It's Christ for All Nations, but it is Africa shall be saved. And like I said, this 50 years of ministry, Evangelist Bonki has an immense legacy, especially here in Africa. I meet bishops, or I meet, older gentlemen from, they come to me and say, Evangelist, in the 80s and 90s, I went to the crusade in Jinja, or I went to the crusade in Ngulu, and I gave my life to Jesus, or I encountered the Holy Spirit, I was filled with the Holy Spirit, and now they're bishops over 1,000 churches, or they're, politicians, or very influential people in this nation. And you know what encourages me? The last generation, I'm a young man, right? The last generation, they had their revival. They had their wonderful outpouring. They had their wonderful crusades that happened. But now there's a new generation here in Uganda, here in Africa, in East Africa, that they might know God in the mind, but they are not living for God. They have not met God personally. So those are the people we're so ready to reach this time.
Okay. And then your final message to my viewer this morning, who's watching Good Morning Uganda, and to the people in Hoima, because that is where you're going to start this year's crusade.
Yes, actually, I'll be one of the preachers in Hoima.
Oh, okay. What would be your last message to anyone watching us this morning?
To anyone watching this, I would say, if you're listening to this, don't think about it. I want you to come to this crusade. You might be hearing these stories and these testimonies, and you say, Evangelist, I don't believe you. Sebo, why are you talking about? I don't believe this. I would say to that person, come to the crusades and find out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word about the miracles. Don't take my word about the testimonies. Come yourself and find out. And let me tell you what happens. When you step into that field, Busia, Gulu, Lira, Iganga, Mbale, Hoima, Kampala, from June 12th to the 16th or 19th to the 23rd, God is going to do something so powerful in your life. If you need a miracle in your body, if your family is falling apart, if your marriage is in danger, if your mental health, if you're having depression, suicidal thoughts, you come to the crusade and God will meet you there. Faith, love, miracles is for you, for your family, for your friends, for your nation. So come to the crusade June 12th to the 16th and 19th to the 23rd. And your life will never be the same.
Well, Uganda shall be saved, according to the Christ for All Nations Church. 12th of June, Boma Grounds, the people in Hoima, you will be fast to take this particular one. So make sure that you go and get that saving. Or what I could say, go and receive the spirit of the gospel starting 4 p.m. on the 12th of June. I've been having evangelist Alejandro Escobar Akiki, who has been here with us this morning, telling us more about evangelism and the Christ for All Nations. For now, more is yet to come here on Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. Stick around. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Topic of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by this weekend on UBC.
We know what we are doing, and we're doing it in rebellion. But you know what we say? He will understand. Now he will understand. We carry it on. We want our children to be better than that.
Why we are living in rebellion, but we want our children to be so good at obedience.
We can only parent as far as or as much as we are obedient to our Father.
If you rebel against him and you expect your children to be obedient, I'm telling you, God in his mercy may come and meet them on his own, but you will become a reject. You will become a reject before your children.
This weekend on UBC.
This is Chilling. Don't miss a brand new season of Chilling on UBC TV.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
You're still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special, and as we are closing into the end of today's show, I just want to let you know that we have some movies we're recommending for the weekend. So let's see if you can decide to catch up on one of these this very afternoon or evening, or even throughout. Tomorrow is Saturday, the following day is a Sunday, so you might as well think with me and we see if you can watch some of these. Atlas is the first movie that we're recommending. This is a 2024 American science fiction action film, and this stars yours truly, Jennifer Lopez, as a highly skilled counterterrorism analyst who harbors a profound skepticism towards artificial intelligence, and later on comes to realize that, well, it may be the sole recourse in the moment following the failure of a mission that aimed at apprehending what we call a rogue robot. Now, the film, directed by Brad Payton and written by Leo Sandarian and Aaron Eli Colliet, the film also stars Simu Louis, starring Kay Brown and Mark Strong. Take a look at the trailer. You just might never know.
This planet is unstable and inhospitable.
Atlas, my name is Smith.
Is that really necessary? You're a computer program.
I'm driving through LA out in raw snow. No, I'm not.
No? What are you then?
I am a computer program named Smith.
No one likes a smartass Smith. We don't have much time. Tarlin's planning an attack.
Atlas, my primary protocol is to keep you alive.
Same! I don't need your help. I don't trust any AI. Smith!
Atlas, this won't work if you don't trust me.
Okay. Let's do this.
Keep everything I know about it.
This is what it feels like to be you.
This is what it feels like to be us.
It's beautiful.
Don't worry. We are simply the better versions of you.
If we don't stop harm, all life on Earth is doomed.
Everything I know about it.
Shit.
You're in my head and the only thing you learn how to do is curse?
I'm an adaptive learner.
Okay. Let's go, bitch.
This is out of control. This is out of control.
It was released on the 24th of May 2024. If you are not someone that watches Netflix, it was released on Netflix. So in case you watch from somewhere else, then you can go ahead and watch it from somewhere else. But it was released this May 2024 and it debuted at #1 on Netflix English film list with 28.2 million views, or call them 56.3 million viewing hours, making it the most watched title for the week between 20th to 26th May. And it reached Netflix's top list in 93 countries and was placed at #1 in 71 countries. That is Atlas right there. The second movie we're recommending is The Fall Guy. If you are someone that loves Ryan Gosling, this is the movie that you need to look out for. A little bit of action, yes, and a little bit of drama, but I think it's a good one. Personally, I've watched it. I think it's a good one. Action star, that is Tom Ryder, and however, he is severely injured during a stunt gone wrong and abandons his career and his girlfriend Jodie Moreno, who was a camera woman. This is a 2024 American action comedy film directed by David Leitch and written by Drew Pearce, on the 1980s TV series. The plot follows a stuntman, who in this case is Ryan Gosling, working on his ex-girlfriend's Emily Blunt directed debut action film, only to find himself involved in a conspiracy surrounding the film's lead actor, Aaron Taylor. The trailer.
That's me, Colt Sievers, and this is my hero's journey.
Can we just start from the top?
Okay, I'm not the hero of this story. I'm just a stunt guy.
Trying to look cool in front of the director of this movie. That's her, who I just so happen to have a major crush on.
We need to keep it super professional.
Cool. Do you want to make out?
Nope.
Because I don't either. It's not what I'm into right now.
Making out?
Yeah.
What are you into?
Talking.
Yeah.
There's just one little wrinkle.
The star of the movie,
Tom Ryder.
is missing. We need you to find him.
Why me?
You're a stuntman. No one's gonna notice whether you're here or not. No offense.
I mean, some taken.
Tom?
Full disclosure, he has fallen in with some shady people.
Just checking in on you.
And they're not gonna like you sniffing around.
I'm just a stunt guy! This is insane, man. Uh-huh.
We got drugs, bad guys, and murder.
What's an ice crime?
Are you saying ice cream or ice crime?
Ice crime.
Okay, just with your accent, it's hard. I'm not reporting an ice cream.
Yes, no, I get that.
Okay.
This is an epic story. Of cosmic proportions.
The bad guys are closing in.
We're gonna hide you.
Nope, we're gonna beat this shit out of them. I never forget a fist. I don't mean it like that.
Nothing like a good twist.
Who doesn't love a twist?
Let's make some trouble.
Get out of my head. Stay alive. No matter what. We're gonna beat the shit out of him.
I have a better idea.
You wanna die? Okay. Maniac. This stuntman's crazy.
We're gonna surround him.
And we beat the shit out of him. Shit. One last stunt. Going down in a blaze of glory.
The Fall Guy is the movie. I would highly recommend that one. If you love some action with a little bit of comedy, that is the movie right there to watch. As in, why would you even go for unrealistic things like fiction? But anyway, let me not demoralize someone. I know someone who watches animations as well. Well, the next movie recommendation is Bob Marley. Now, Bob Marley is One Love, is a 2024 American biographical drama musical film based on the life of reggae singer and songwriter Bob Marley, played by Kingsley Ben-Adir from his rise to fame in the mid-1970s up until his death in 1981. This film is directed by Reynaldo Marcus Green, who co-wrote the screenplay with Terrence Winter, Frank E. Flowers, and Zach Bailin. It also stars Lashana Lynch as Rita Marley and James Norton as Chris Blackwell. This, definitely, if you love a good story, if you are someone that can concentrate in a movie, this is the movie I would recommend for the weekend. Of course, if you want to also a little bit of some emotions here and there, this one is for you to watch.
To sing these songs of freedom is all I ever have. Redemption songs.
When you write that?
All my life. Reggae is the people music.
You know you're a superstar.
I am a superstar. You can't separate the music and the message. You see, reggae music come to unify the people.
Not everyone likes what you're saying. For your own safety, you need to stop.
On December 3rd, 1976, would-be assassins invaded Bob Marley's home and attempted to take the life of the singer, his wife, and...
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that thing. Cause every little thing gonna be alright. You like that one?
Yeah.
There's a war going on. Oh, I can't bring peace. I can't even get peace for myself.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, it's by my doorstep.
Sometimes the messenger has to become the message.
Bob, I know it's dangerous. But you're the only one who can unite the people.
You ready, Bob?
No guns can stop this message. I want the world to change. And that time is now.
story, that is a story to look out for. You can watch that. An inspiring story, yes, you can look out for this very one. Except that for the reviews that I've got so far on that very same movie, some seem to believe that Bob Marley was not very well represented in the writing of this script. Well, if you know the good story, then maybe you might want to make some comparison, but there is a story in there for you to look out for. Now, from me, I would love to say I wish you a very nice weekend, but first, I would like to apologize that we could not have Biswanka due to unavoidable circumstances, but we hope to have him another time. And also coming up is going to be Jerome Paul Sonko with a panel of Bands Sentamu and Ruben Chirirango Mpima taking it through the world of sports. And I'm looking forward, hopefully by the time they're done with the show, I'll have got my ticket to go to Nambole to watch the game today, right? For now, I will say have a very wonderful weekend, but sports is coming up next.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
This weekend on UBC.
We know what we are doing, and we're doing it in rebellion. But you know what we say? He will understand. Now he will understand. We carry it on. We want our children to be better than that.
Why we are living in rebellion. But we want our children to be so good at obedience.
We can only parent as far as or as much as we are obedient to our Father.
If you rebel against him and you expect your children to be obedient, I'm telling you, God in his mercy may come and meet them on his own, but you will become a reject. You will become a reject before your children.
This weekend on UBC.
Improving eyesight involves adopting healthy habits and practices that support overall eye health. While these suggestions may not guarantee significant improvements, they can contribute to maintaining good eye health. Number 1, eat a nutrient-rich diet. Consume foods rich in vitamins A, C, and E, as well as minerals like zinc and copper. These nutrients support eye health and may help prevent age-related vision problems. Foods like carrots, spinach, kale, and fish are beneficial. Number 2, stay hydrated. Proper hydration is essential for overall health, including eye health. Drink an adequate amount of water each day.